from the shul. So we spoke about the concept of Avelut and how the Kabbalah pushed further the idea of mourning in the Omer. But really, one of the main questions is, how did we get to the number 33? Why is it that we count 33 days and then stop different customs? The Sfaradim consider the day of 33, the Lag BaOmer, as still part of the Avelut if they do it. So they don't take a haircut or have a wedding on the 33rd day of the Omer, and they start from the 34th day on. So for Sfaradim, the Omer is split into two periods, up to the 33rd day, and from the 33rd day on. The Ashkenazim is split into three periods, before the 33rd, before Lag BaOmer, and after Lag BaOmer. And only on Lag BaOmer, they can have weddings and have a haircut. And of course, this causes a lot of trouble, especially when people want to have to book a hall for a wedding in Israel, right? So Lag BaOmer is almost impossible because everybody who got engaged in between, they all delayed. The only day that they can have within the 7 weeks leading from Pesach to Shavuot, they only have one day, Lag BaOmer. So everything is booked. Sfaradim book it from Lamed Dalet on. But where did we get the number Lamed Gimel from? So that's interesting because in the original source that I mentioned to you in the Gemara in Yevamot, the Gemara says that the students of Rabbi Akiva died from Pesach till Shavuot. So, and nothing about halfway through Pesach, from Pesach to Shavuot. But when the Minhag is recorded much later on, they all speak about halftime, Lag BaOmer. Where did they take it from? They say Kabbalah Be'adagonim, there's a tradition that the students stop dying on Lag BaOmer. The students of Rabbi Akiva stop dying on Lag BaOmer. So the question was raised, but the Gemara says it went all the way to Shavuot. They say no, a word is missing. It says Ad Peros Ha'atzeret, until halfway before Shavuot. But it's not really half time, because then 49 should have been divided into two, and it's 24, 25. But rather, they read it as half a month before Shavuot. So 15 days before Shavuot, go back, you get 33. That has been challenged because people say if you go back 15 days from Shavuot, you get to 34, and not to 33. So one problem. When too many problems accumulate, you realize that something is intrinsically wrong. Then another question has been raised. If you say that all the students of Rabbi Akiva died, and they stopped dying on Lag BaOmer, what is the cause for celebration? No one was left. Right? If you say some of them died and the others survived and didn't die after Lag BaOmer, I understand that's a cause for celebration. But if everybody died, then Lag BaOmer doesn't mark anything special. They stopped dying because no one was left. It's like saying, where is the last place you look for a lost object? Where you find it. Exactly. Once you found it, no point in keep on looking. Same thing. Why none of Rabbi Akiva's students died after Lag BaOmer? Because no one was left. So what's the cause for celebration? So some rabbis tried to answer that. They said, no, it means only the most important student. So what do you mean? So he had other students, but the Gemara says that after all of his students died, he went to a different place in Israel and taught 5 new students. It says, yeah, still it means that the Hashuvim, the important one, died. Okay, it's a problem. Now, so we go back to the question, where did we take the Lag BaOmer from? So in the commentary to the Arba'a Turim, one of the commentators, the Beit Hadash, Rabbi Sirkis, quotes a commentary on the Gemara called Tosafot, but we can't find it originally there. But he says this: "Lo metu ela b'yamim sheomrim tehina bahem." He says, don't think that when we say that they died in some of the days between Pesach and Shavuot, that they died consecutively from Pesach to Lag BaOmer. No, the days were scattered around the calendar, and they only died on the days sheomrim tehina bahem, only on the days where you say tahanun. So this already is very strange. It says like the plague, if it was a plague, because it seems like, something that was supernatural, the plague followed the calendar. They die only on the days when you say Tahanun, and if you say Ishem, they don't die. So they, on Rosh Chodesh, they don't die, then they die during the week, and on Shabbat, they don't die, and then they die. Right? So first of all, if this is so, we should have the practices of mourning or not music, no weddings, only on the days in between, on the intermittent day. The other problem is this: why did we decide to collect all the days, right, that are in between, sum them up, and practice Avilut from day 1 to day 33? You understand what I mean? So instead of doing, if originally it was day 1 they died, day 2 they didn't die, that's what we should keep, not sum up how many days within this time period they died and put together. But the problem is even bigger than that, because let's see how they calculate it. נמצא שלא מתו בשבעת ימי הפסח ובשבע שבתות ובשני ימים של ראש חודש אייר ובראש חודש סיוון. It says that we have 7 days of Pesach, 7 days of Shabbat, 2 days of Rosh Chodesh for Iyar, 1 day of Rosh Chodesh for Sivan, which total 17 days. But since one of the Shabbatot falls on Pesach, it's only 16 days. Perfect. Take 16 out of 46, you're left with 33, right? It seems like perfect. The problem is, this is the kind of math that you do post facto. When you try to square your the books, or when someone says this is what you have to pay me, and it comes exactly to the penny, because he put together all kind of bills or payables, and says he already wanted you to pay this, and he works out how exactly this. You see, for example, in traffic fines, even, right? The fine comes, let's say, to $150, but it's broken down to 127 here plus taxes. But they already wanted it to be 150, round number. Same thing here. Someone wanted to get to the number 33, so he was looking for 16 days out. Why am I saying that? Because really it's not 16 days. How many days out of the Omer we don't say Tahanun? First we have 15 days of Nisan. Not only the 7 days of Pesach, but all days of the month of Nisan. The Gemara says you don't do Esped, you don't do Avelut, you don't say Tahanun. So 15 days. Okay. We have 15 days plus 6 days of Shabbat, that's 21. Plus we have 2 days of Rosh Chodesh, 1 Rosh Chodesh Iyar, 1 Rosh Chodesh Sivan, together 23. Then we have a day that somehow was forgotten here, Pesach Shani, the second Pesach which we celebrate on Yudalit Iyar. So we get to, how much? 24. 25, right. Take 24 out of the 49 days of the Omer, and you only have to do Avilut for 24 days. Now up to Kafdalit, Kafeh, and not Lag BaOmer. So some people then now come and have a different argument altogether. They say that 33 is the majority of 49. So once it's parallel to our lifespan. This is the commentary of Maharsha, Rabbi Shmuel Edels on the Gemara. He says, Yemei shenotenu b'hem 70 shana, just as we are allotted 70 years according to the Tehillim life expectancy. If one reaches 70, he should be overjoyous. Actually, as a matter of fact, in medieval times, when you find people talking about birthdays and all that, they say anyone who reached 60 should throw a big party, because no one reaches that age. Times have changed. But he says so when we do the Yovel, 50 is because we passed already the majority of our life, and we're happy that we're there. This is what the Maharsha says. So similarly, the Omer, if you consider the Omer to be a period of mourning, once you passed 33 out of 49 days, it's the majority of the time, and now you're sort of off the hook. Then another interpretation says that it has to do with the mystical spheres, Hod Bahod, that apply to the day of Lag BaOmer. But altogether, when you put all these sources together, we come to one conclusion. And I mentioned it before, when we were discussing the custom of not eating kitniot, legumes and rice on Pesach, and I mentioned that there are like 5 or 6 different reasons to the minhag. And this is sort of a rule of thumb. Whenever you have too many explanations for one act or one practice, it means that none of them is valid or none of them is strong enough. Because if you had one clear reason, that is enough. You don't need more than that. When you have a clear explanation, you don't need more than that. You don't need to say, when a mother asks the child, do you have homework? And he says, there's no homework. Are you sure? Actually, it's for Wednesday. Are you sure? I did it during recess. Are you sure? It's only for those kids, but I don't have to do it. Okay, so decide, was there or wasn't there homework? What is the truth, right? If it was clearly no homework, he says no homework, that's it. But none of the reasons, none of the above. So this is the same thing applies here. None of the above. What happened though, the way we celebrated today, what happened is that again the Kabbalah came into the picture, and the Mekubalim said, based on traditions that are not written anywhere, that the day of the death, of the passing away of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was on Lag BaOmer. And that's why Lag BaOmer now is identified with the Hilula, right, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And this is an interesting concept because Hilula means celebration. But he died on that day, so why are we doing a celebration? So the argument is that for the righteous, for the tzaddik, the day of his passing is a joyous day, because living in this world, in the mundane existence, bound by the body, is not the ideal state for the tzaddik, for the righteous. And when his soul leaves the body, departs the body, and connects to its source, which is under the throne of the divine, then it is joyous and happy. But still, that means that it's a celebration for him, but not for us. Like Shlomo Melech says in the Tanakh, Al tivku la'olech ve'al tanudu lo. Don't cry, don't mourn for the person who left us, mourn for those who are left behind. So we or his disciples at the time should have said, well, no, we're not celebrating the day, the date of his passing. Similarly, Zayin Be'adar, the 7th of Adar, traditionally marked the passing away of Moshe Rabbeinu. People don't do Hilula on that day, right? The opposite. People fast on that day. Shavuot, we say, is the day of passing of David HaMelech, but it was established as a holiday before the time of David, so it is not the death of David, if it happened on Shavuot, does not override Shavuot. So here's the problem: why would we celebrate on Lag BaOmer? So, like what? You still don't know, right? And there's a long discussions. There were rabbis who were saying, here, let me read what the Hatam Sofer says. Hatam Sofer, Rabbi Moshe Schreiber of Pressburg, right, in Hungary in the 18th century, in the 19th century. How can be קובע מועד שלא נעשה בו נס ולא הוזכר בש"ס ופוסקים בשום מקום ברמז ורמיזה, רק מניעת הספד ותענית מנהג ההוא. It says to make a celebration on a date where there was no miracles, the day was not mentioned in the Talmud or the later literature, not even by hint. רק מניעת הספד ותענית מנהג ההוא. It says, I understand if you want to skip one day of not mourning or not, but more than that, לעשותו יום שמחה והדלקה במקום ידוע, שיהיה תל תלפיות שהכל נפנים לשם, לא ידעתי אם רשאים לעשות כן. I don't know if people are allowed to do that. However, to go and do the lighting and the fires at the grave or the tziyun of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai or in other places. However, what we see is this: the popular custom prevails. At the end of the day, no matter what the rabbis write or say, it's what the people choose to do that matters. So, up to a certain period, what mattered was people felt that they have to mourn and they have to feel sad on the Omer. And once they had this opening of Lag BaOmer is the day when you could celebrate, they connected it with different reasons, no matter what, until they got to the point of here, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Lag BaOmer, and let us celebrate. So this is how it is practiced today. Yes?
Didn't he say that we should not mourn for him? Didn't he mention that?
Not. It doesn't say that in the Zohar. It's all later literature. But the truth of the matter, right now, as I said, like once the popular minhag has evolved, it's okay. We can roll with it. It's good. It's not a prohibition. I would say the opposite. The prohibition is for us to mourn too much. We have to let go of it. We can't. This happened almost 2,000 years ago. We had so many other events and catastrophes that happened in between. For the Holocaust, 5 years, more than 5 years, and more than 6 million people were killed. And we're not talking about just the 6 million people. It's all the suffering and damage that was caused to their descendants and to the whole world. People are third generation Holocaust survivors are still suffering. And how many days in the year, in the Jewish calendar, do we dedicate to it? 1 day. And it's not the day that will come this week. I'm not talking about Yom HaShoah VaGvura. I'm not talking about the 27th of Nisan. Because this day is not recognized by the Orthodox community, unfortunately. Why? We'll discuss it tomorrow. They don't recognize it because they think that the Shoah was a divine punishment to the Jews, and they should not have shown any opposition. So since the Yom HaShoah, the full title of Yom HaShoah is Yom HaShoah VaGvura, the day of remembrance of the Holocaust and of heroism, the uprising of the Warsaw Ghetto, they don't want to have anything to do with it. So the ultra-Orthodox mark the Holocaust on Tisha B'Av, which anyway was already there. They didn't create a new memorial day for it. And the chief rabbi of Israel established the day of the 10th of Tevet as Yom HaKadish HaKlali. As it's not exactly Holocaust Remembrance Day, but rather the day for saying Kaddish for people who died without relatives, with no relatives, known relatives, to say Kaddish for them. So look at this completely disproportional. We're talking about 24,000 soldiers that allegedly, we don't know even if the numbers are exact, that died 2,000 years ago. And we're talking about 6 million people who died in recent memory and who our descendants are with us. For the ancient Avelud, some people mark 33 and some people 49 days. And for the Holocaust, I think 1 day. So enough if we put the Avelud of the Omer aside, we reclaim the joy of the Omer. We should really be happy during this period. The only thing, if one doesn't want to take a haircut until Friday, fine. But listening to music is allowed, and all other things are allowed. The only thing that maybe to respect the old practice of the Avilut is to delay a haircut to Friday or to Thursday in honor of Shabbat. Shaving should be permitted regularly. I'm saying this 100% is allowed, but hopefully that in the future the rabbinical organization will get together and issue that as a psak, as a ruling that from now on we're not going to mark the Omer as a time of sadness, but as a time of joy. And this way the Lag BaOmer will extend for the whole period, not just for 1 day. And we'll see when this happens. Okay, let's stop here.